Thank you very much, Phoenix. We love to be back. We'll be back a lot. We're going to win that election. Thank you very much. Hello, Phoenix. It's great being here in the great state of Arizona with thousands of hardworking patriots who believe in God, family, and country. Thank you. Thank you. And with your help this November, we are going to defeat the radical socialist Democrats, and we are going to win Arizona in a landslide. It's all over TV that the folks here tonight have helped a great World War II veteran into the arena. I don't know if he knows it, but he's right now the hottest celebrity in the world. I don't know what's going on here. He might even be hotter than Trump right now, I have to say. Did you see the scene? No, he's all over television. Even fake news CNN had him on. But they say he's a legitimate great hero of World War II, Irvin Julian. Irvin, thank you. My son Don to get a couple of hats and get some things and give them to Irwin right now. And I want to thank you. Really, that's a great honor. And thank you for the great job you've done. An American patriot. Thank you very much. Thank you, Don. How did Don do tonight? Okay? He's good guy, and he loves this country. So this is truly an incredible time for America. We have the best economy, the most prosperous country that we've ever had, and the most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. It's do you remember the good time we had a week ago at the State of the Union? You remember that, right? State of the Union. And that was my honor, but I proudly declared that we are in the midst of the great American comeback. Our country is stronger today than ever before. And after 3 years of very unfair and ridiculous witch hunts and partisan Democrat crusades, it was the radical left's pathetic attempts to nullify your ballots, poison our democracy, and overthrow our entire system of government. But guess what? They failed, and our poll numbers are higher today than they've ever been before. And we're standing up to the defense of our Constitution, our freedom, and democracy itself. We're doing something that's never been done in the history of our country. This movement has never taken place, nothing like it ever, and the fake news can attest to it, because if they thought I was saying the wrong thing, it'd be out there immediately. Be all over the place. It'd be all over the place. Trump exaggerates. That's terrible what he says. There has never been a movement like this. And it began very early. It began in 2016 with that wonderful, beautiful night. You remember that, right? That beautiful night in November. And we're going to have another beautiful night in November, and this time it's going to be November 3rd. Get ready, November 3rd. We're coming. We're coming. So we're having great polls. You're seeing the polls, except for some of the fake ones. And if I was treated fairly, meaning if you were treated fairly by the fake news, we'd be up 20 points higher in the polls. There wouldn't even be a competitive election. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be competitive, but I actually think we're going to win by a lot, just like we did last time. But I really believe we'd be up 20 points. I mean, all they do is negative, phony stuff. Russia, Russia, Russia. The impeachment hoax. That's a hoax. But you know, we had great support from the Republican Party. In the House, it was 197 to nothing. And in the Senate, it was 52 and a half to a half. You know what the half was? A half-wit. And while the extreme left has been wasting America's time with the hoaxes, we've been killing terrorists, creating jobs, raising wages, enacting fair trade deals, securing our border, and lifting up citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. And by the way, they turned away 21,000 people outside, so feel very good. Feel very good. We haven't had an empty seat. You know what? We haven't had an empty seat. And this is a tribute to all of us, because this is a movement like nobody's ever seen. But we haven't had an empty seat since your great, and this is a great First Lady, came down the escalator with me in Trump Tower a long time ago. We haven't had an empty seat. From our rural communities to our inner cities, we're expanding the blessings of America to all of our citizens. We added another 225,000 new jobs last month alone. You saw that, the geniuses, you saw that. You saw that last month. They were doing predictions on one of the shows. What do you think? Well, I think 60,000. What do you think? I think 100,000. What do you think? I think 84,000. These are the ones that tell you all about how to invest. What do you think? And then they came out, 225,000. The market goes up again. 225,000. 225,000, so many manufacturing jobs, so many that frankly were never going to come back. Remember, you need a magic wand, right? They came back. And remember this, we're paying interest. The past administration didn't pay interest. They pumped money in like it was candy, and we didn't pump money in, we took money out. Not that I was happy about that, because I disagree with it, because frankly, if we kept the old practice, which frankly, some people can dispute one way or the other, we would have been up, in my opinion, another 10,000 points in the Dow, and we've set 144 records on the stock market in 3 years, 144 records. 144 records, record stock market. And you know what that means? That's your 401ks are up 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. No, guys come up to me, said, Mr. President, I just want to thank you. My wife used to look at me like I was a total loser, sir. Every year we lost money for years and years. She said, what the hell is wrong with you, Henry? And this year, sir, I'm up 92%. She loves me again. She thinks I'm a genius. 92% 401k. She thinks I'm a genius, sir. She loves me again. Shows what money can do, right? But that makes, and think of this, 7 million new jobs since we were elected. We were elected. And when I took over, ISIS was all over the place. And we immediately started. We have destroyed 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We have killed the founder and leader of ISIS. Al-Baghdadi is dead. And we just took out the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani, ending his evil reign of terror forever. And the fake news doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you. In fact, you remember the dog, great dog Conan? When we took out, right? We love Conan. Conan's a tough dog. But when we took out al-Baghdadi, Conan, remember this? Conan got more publicity than President Trump. That's okay. They were looking for al-Baghdadi for 16 years. We found him and we took him out. And last week, we killed another one last week, the head of Al-Qaeda. He was gone, dead. And America is respected again, respected like never before. We're respected again. We're no longer the laughingstock that gets taken advantage by every country, including, by the way, our allies, who in many cases take a bigger advantage than our enemies. I will tell you that. They take big advantage, but not so much anymore. We're winning like never before. Washington Democrats keep on losing their minds. They hate the fact that we're winning. We're winning big. We're winning. And that is why millions of registered Democrat voters are leaving their party to join our movement. They're joining our great Republican Party in droves. You see it all the time. I just spoke to some of your leaders. He said, this is unbelievable what's happening. This is unbelievable. You know, there have never been rallies like that. Sleepy Joe Biden the other day had 68 people. And now they have a new member of the crew, Mini Mike. Mini Mike. No boxes. We call them no boxes. And I hear he's getting pounded tonight. You know, he's in a debate. I hear they're pounding him. He spent $500 million so far, and I think he has 15 points. It just came out. Hey, fake news, how many points does he have right now? 15? They won't tell you the truth. They won't tell you the truth. MSDNC is worse than CNN. They're owned by a company called Comcast. You can have Comcast, a bunch of phonies, but MSDNC is worse than CNN, and they're all pretty bad. No, they just came out with a poll. They just came out with a poll a little while ago. Mini Mike was at 15, and Crazy Bernie was at 31. That's a lot. And Mini Mike just spent $500 million. But the DNC is going to take it away from Bernie again. And that's okay, because we don't care who the hell it is. We're going to win. We're going to win. We have to. But let me tell you, these crooked politicians, they really took away 3 years from us, because despite the fact, and nobody disputes it, that we've done more in 3 years with the tax cuts and regulation cuts and the military and the choice and everything. We've done more than any administration in history. We've done more, but think of it. Think of it. We did it with phony witch hunts. We did it with the impeachment hoax over our head the whole time. We did it under circumstances that should never, ever happen to another president again. True. But with your energy and enthusiasm this November, we're going to take back the House, we're going to hold the Senate, and we are going to keep the White House. So we're thrilled to be joined tonight by some of the best, greatest, I love them, leaders in America, Arizona leaders. I want to start, come on up here, Governor Doug Ducey. Come on up here, Doug. Come on up here. Also, I call them warriors because they fought like hell. They worked with our future Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. But we have some of your great warriors. Paul Gosar, come up here, Paul, come up here. Andy Biggs, head of the Freedom Caucus. Andy Biggs. David Schweikert, David, come up here. A big star. You know about that, Doug? She became this monster star. She looked with such indignation at the other side, such disgust. Debbie Lesko. He'll be running someday. You said your grandson, wow. He'll be running someday. Arizona Senate President, you know who that is, right? Karen Fann, come up, Karen. Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers, Vice President of the Navajo Nation, Myron Lazier, and Arizona Republican Party State Chair, Kelly Ward. Kelly Ward, come up. And we have a lot of other leaders, but we got to get back to speaking. Do me a favor, before I introduce a very special guest, I'd like to ask your great governor, you know, he won like by 16 points. It wasn't even a contest. And I'm very competitive. I want to beat him. Will you please get out to the polls so we can beat him? But he's tough to beat. Doug Ducey, say a couple of words, please. Please.
Mr. President, we are going to keep Arizona red in 2020. We are going to return President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence to the White House. We are going to return Martha McSally to the United States Senate. And we are going to keep our Republican majorities in our congressional delegation and our state chambers. Mr. President, thank you for what you have done for the cause of life. For what you have done for our economy and reducing regulations, and for what you have done for the United States Supreme Court. We're looking forward to working with you for 4 more years.
These are great people, great people. Thank you very much. So, you know, before I introduce somebody very important to all of us, to me, also I have to say with us tonight is a Arizona hockey great, a friend of mine. He's a great golfer, too. He's a tough golfer. I'll tell you, he's tough to beat. He's tough as hell. And if you beat him in golf, he'll try and beat you physically. He doesn't care. He was the toughest hockey player. You know, he was one of these guys, he could beat you one way, and if he couldn't, he just beat them up, right? He'd beat them up. And he's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, Jeremy Roenick. Where is he? Thank you, Jeremy. He's a winner. We're also joined by Donald Jr. and Kimberly, and they're great people. Great. And RNC co-chairman Tommy Hicks, and RNC finance chairman, also happens to own a team called the Chicago Cubs. I shouldn't tell you that. Todd Ricketts. Todd. So finally, it's my great honor to introduce a tremendous person, a great fighter pilot. A lot of people don't know that. She's a great fighter pilot. And a warrior Senate. She helped us so much during the impeachment hoax. She didn't wobble one bit. Martha McSally. You know, Martha's tough on the border. And she's working with me to strengthen our military still further and lower your prescription drug prices, and we're making a lot of progress. But her opponent, I have to say this, Martha, a guy named Mark Kelly. Even the Democrats don't like him much. He wants to raise your taxes, open your borders, give away free health care to illegal immigrants, and he wants to obliterate your Second Amendment. He wants to get rid of it. The radical liberal Democrats from California and Massachusetts, they're pouring money into Kelly's campaign because they know that he's a rubber stamp for crying Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck, and nervous Nancy Wacko Pelosi. And we're going to have a new speaker. But that's why Martha has my complete and total support and endorsement, and we have to all get out there and make sure that Martha McSally, she's a warrior. Let me tell you, you don't know, we don't know, people don't know people. This one is tough as hell, and that's what we need. Martha McSally.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome back to the great state of Arizona. Let's give it up. I just want to say I have a message for the liberal hack media in the back. Arizona is going to vote in November to keep America great and send President Trump back to the White House. And Mr. President, I want you to know I was right there on the floor in that amazing State of the Union address that you gave. It brought tears to my eyes at many places. You were honoring our veterans. You were reuniting families. It was extraordinary. But I heard your call. You said to put a bill on your desk that's going to lower prescription drug prices, and I'm going to introduce a bill next week to get that done, to help all Americans lower the cost of drugs. Arizona is on fire thanks to the leadership of President Trump with Governor Doug Ducey and the Republicans in the Senate and the House. People are living amazing. We are getting people off the sidelines. The economy is doing so great. We have so much more to do, but there's so much at stake. My opponent said he would vote to convict and remove you from office and remove you from the 2020 ballot. What is that all about? And then he said last week that he would support Bernie Sanders if he's the nominee and his socialist agenda. So Arizona is tired of investigations. They're tired of obstruction. They don't want socialism. They love our freedoms. And Mark Kelly is flying on Bernie Sanders' wing, and I'm flying on your wing, President Trump, and we're going to win in November. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Well, and she's right. How about that Congressman Al Green? We can't beat him, so we have to impeach him. How about that? That's not what our, as they call them, the founders. How many times did you hear the name the founders? That's not what the founders had in mind. But we're going to have a big, big election victory. We're working together. I don't think the Republican Party has ever been more unified than it is right now. I really don't believe so. So whatever you can do for Martha, we need her. It's been so incredible. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything, Martha. Appreciate it. Thank you. Together, we're building the world's most prosperous economy and the most inclusive society anywhere. We're inclusive. This is the Republican Party. We're inclusive. Right here right? You know that. Right here in America, right here in Arizona, we've created 240,000 new jobs right here, including over 60,000 new manufacturing and construction jobs here. Nobody thought it was possible. You've had the best year that you've ever had, Arizona. You've had the best year, the most successful year that you've ever had in the history of the country. It's the best year you've ever had. So I'm going to take all the credit away from you, Governor. I don't care. Now, we have a great team with Doug and everybody else, but you've had the greatest year. You know that, Doug, #1 year in the history of your state. It's an incredible achievement. Incredible achievement. I don't know. This has to be pretty good stuff on the debate stage. We'll talk about, well, you had the best, and many states, the best year they've ever had. And then they said, oh, let's get a new president. I don't think that's going to work so easy. The country's had the best year it's ever had. Oh, let's get a new president. Let's put in Crazy Bernie. Let's go, Crazy Bernie. Unemployment has reached its lowest rate in over 51 years, half a century. The average unemployment rate for my administration, think of this, the average, so we're talking about now more than 3 years, is the lowest for any U.S. president in recorded history. The unemployment rate among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached record lows, lowest in history. African American youth unemployment has reached an all-time low in the history of our country. African American and Hispanic American poverty has plummeted to the lowest rate ever recorded. The unemployment rate for women has reached the lowest level in 71 years. Soon to be historic. And veterans' unemployment has dropped to a record low. We're working with our veterans. We're taking care of our veterans like nobody's ever taken care of our veterans. The unemployment rate for disabled Americans has reached the lowest level in history. Workers without a high school diploma, you have a lot of them. They left high school. They said, oh, I should have finished. They left. They can't go back. They left. We've achieved the lowest unemployment rate without a diploma ever recorded in U.S. history. Isn't that great? The great numbers.